Okay, Wayne, have a question back here, sir?
Yes, my name is Darrell Schreiner, and I am wondering, with the recent change in the electoral process in Washington, where the two top vote getters take all, regardless of party, do we need to be concerned about splitting the vote between two outstanding conservative candidates?
Good question.
Well, of course you do, but I gotta tell you, sir, that's the magnificent of this election. Because we've got a bunch of candidates, and you're gonna have the two top vote getters move on, regardless of party affiliation. Now, I gotta tell you, we gotta quit thinking negatively. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking. This is what my mother, who's sitting right back there, said to me every time I started to think doubtful about my existence in the NFL. When we the people start looking up the future and we're thinking positively that Patty Murray's not going to be in this general, it'll happen. If we motivate this east side for a 90% turnout, and we had Sean Salazar coming over here and telling us, your votes aren't going to count because we got enough people over there by the Space Needle that your votes don't count. Baloney. Those people are disenfranchised. They're not going to be voting. We need a big voter turnout on the east side. We can make it happen. We can make a difference in this election here in Eastern Washington.
I personally am not worried about splitting the vote. I think what's going to happen is as this election becomes very focused, and it's becoming very focused, Dino Rossi has the potential to take most of the votes for the Republican Party. But of course, if you've watched the Rasmussen poll, both Clint and I are doing incredible. The question is, and my strategy, and I think it's Clint's strategy as well, is we're taking votes from Dino. And one of us is going to be the one challenging Patty Murray. It's not going to be Dino. That's what I'm predicting is going to happen. I'm not concerned about it at all. And again, I'll go back to my original statement. The most important thing we do here is allow the process to be clear and transparent so we can raise up good leaders. We do not want to discourage people by going so far and then quitting. If I thought there was a chance of us splitting the vote, and what would happen? There's not two Democrats are going to win. Clearly, the polls show that Clint, myself, and Dino are the strong candidate. One of us is going to win against Patty Murray, and we're going to move forward. I'm very comfortable with the way things are going.
Anyone has a question from the lady here?
Again, I'm Nancy Davis. I want to say something that is so simple for all of us to remember. I came here in 1957, approved by this government and my government to leave the country with a green card that said, I didn't come from a UFO, I came with an alien card. For 50 years, I was never once asked, was I someone without a legal or illegal card? Never once was I ever asked if I was an alien. And I'm 70 years old. I didn't become an American citizen until I realized the travel we were heading for. And I decided I got to do it now. I'm American, I'm going to wear my children and everything. But guys, it's an alien card, it's what is legal. Why do we make this big scene about an immigration failure? We're not holding laws. Period. Why do we give green cards? Throw away then the green cards and don't even ask questions. And I'm not this is what I'm giving to both of you. Don't make this a heavy issue. It's simple. You gotta be approved for this government, and your government says it's okay to come to the country and be a visitor, or like my father said, remember always, you are a guest in that country, and don't forget it, and I never have.
I believe that was a statement.
That was a statement.
Very good statement.
A very good statement from a lady who immigrated here from Cuba, is that right? Welcome to the United States, ma'am. You're a good citizen.
I would like to just add one thing to that. My grandparents taught me from Greece to be grateful for this country. As a matter of fact, when my grandparents came here, they had 9 daughters. Every one of them learned to speak English. My grandfather required them to speak English on the street, and they could only speak Greek at home and at church. Those are the only places. And then to further cement in my mind what a great country this was, and the gratitude that was put onto me about this country. My grandfather and grandmother never returned back to Greece. They could have easily done it. They had the money. They never did. It was America that provided them the opportunity, and Greece that forced them to leave.
Yes, you two gentlemen, I want to applaud both of you for getting in the arena and doing what needs to be done. So thanks for coming and thanks for showing up and thanks for doing what you're doing. Clint Didier outlined that financial reform was not financial reform, and I think it's really important that be underscored just briefly for both of the candidates. The Wall Street crash that we experienced in 2008 had its seeds in 1999 and 2000, and Congress just blinked and kept a lot of those problems still going. Could you two gentlemen offer insight in terms of what your thoughts may be with regards to real reforms on Wall Street so you really can have real freedom in the economy and create real jobs?
Well, you hit it on the nail head right there. It's freedom. Because right now, with all this new regulation, they're extinguishing the American spirit. That crisis was created because of an unholy alliance between our federal government and the corporate banking world of today. That's what created that. We were giving out loans to people that couldn't even afford that house, and all they were doing, we were asked to pay for, was a percentage of the interest on the loan that was due every year. Now, how is this sustainable? This was due to Barney Frank and Chris Dodd. They're the two that are responsible for this. When are we going to start holding these people accountable for the actions of what's happening in America? That's what we got to do. It's going to take a judicial department willing to do that. Now, we just about lost our Second Amendment rights here a month ago, folks. 5-4. Now, you realize that if we can get back to 2/3 of the Senate and 2/3 of the House, that we can impeach a Supreme Court justice? And I think the four that voted against our Second Amendment rights need to go now.
So the Financial Reform Act, again, it's a disaster. And again, why it's a disaster? Because what's really occurred there is they allowed large banking and financial institutions to be able to compete unfairly with small banks because they have regulatory departments that can work through all the new regulations and processes. So really, the only way to solve the problem, because I think you asked what the problem was, what the problem originated with the Community Reinvestment Act and then the subprime lending. That's what created the chaos. And then, of course, the Financial Reform Act did nothing to oversee Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, which was really the crux of the issue as well. The only way to solve the problem, frankly, is going back to a very interesting thought: the free market. The free market allowing those banks that do the wrong thing to fail and those banks that do the right thing to succeed. For instance, GM and Ford. GM should have gone out of business. Ford did it right. Did you know that Ford was a lean company? Did you know that Ford adopted lean from the Toyota production system? Bet you didn't know that. That's why Ford's in business. The good companies would succeed. Continue to create jobs and opportunity for people, and that's what we need to do. But we always bail people out. I'm 100% against it. That is the solution. It's so simple. It's not a 2,000-page bill. It says, if you do it wrong, you're going to pay. If you do it right, you will be rewarded. That's the American system.
Thank you. All right, folks, we're running a little long on our planned time here. We started a little late, but you've had a lot of really good questions, and I think you should give yourselves a hand for your great participation. I'm going to ask each of the candidates to give a 5-minute summary, and we'll wrap up. But there's a thought that I want you to take with you before I lose you. I am very concerned about the future of our country. Here's a scenario that I fear. I'm afraid that if for some reason we fail to take back our country in November, that next year sometime I'm going to have to be explaining to my kids that we did all we could to try and save our country, but we just didn't have enough help from all the people that really cared. Now you are the people that care. You came out here today. Please help me to avoid that scenario. Please help us to spread the word. Go out and talk to your friends, your neighbors, your family. Tell them how important it is for them to vote. Help them be educated, informed voters. You can help us if you'll please do that. That's what the Tri-City Tea Party wants you to do. Please help us there. Now I want to call out Clint to give a 5-minute summary. Oh, all right, let's ask Paul.